We are back on Patriots 4th and 2, the official podcast, PatsFans.com. I'm Russ Goldman. Along with me, as always, is Steve Balestrieri and Derek Havens. In this episode, we are going to discuss the Patriots' victory against the Colts. And as I put in the title, defense wins the day on both sides, meaning on the Patriots and the Colts. So we're going to talk about the Patriots defense, but we certainly have to talk about the Colts defense and the lack of offense for the Patriots. But I do want to start with focusing on the Patriots defense because I'm curious my co-host's feelings on how they played, and is this something to build on? Before we go on any further, as always, please do subscribe on YouTube to the PatsFans.com YouTube channel and on Apple Podcasts. Please leave a review, whatever you want, and let us know what you think about Patriots 4th and 2. Okay, guys, let's get going on this. Derek, I'm going to share my thoughts on the game first, and I'll go to you. And I want you to comment on what I'm about to share. Victory's a victory, right? But it was hard to watch at times. I think it's fair to say, right?
Yep.
So I got a lot of criticism for tweeting during the game. I got called the pink cat. I was told to play Madden because I said I wanted not only to win, but to be entertained. What I mean by that, I would like an offense that can actually play. I would like to see movement of the ball. Defense is great. Defense wins championships. Defense was great here. But the offense is so bad that I had to tweet something out, and that's where that was going on this. I want to spend a lot of time talking about the offense. I want to focus on the defense to begin. But is it fair to say it's a great victory? It's a victory, but it was hard to watch.
Russ, are you marginalizing the victory?
Not marginalizing. It's not marginalizing. It's not.
I know, but come on. I've been doing this with you for 10 years. At least I can make a joke. You know, I'm telling you, Steve, you and I talked about this yesterday offline. That game set the NFL back 10 years. I mean, just horrible how bad the offense was yesterday. I mean, I just really, it really is hard to watch. It just feels like nothing is easy. They make 1st and 5, 1st and 10, 2 and 10, 2 and 8. It doesn't matter the down and distance. It feels so clunky. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the solution is. I don't know if it's a Mac issue, an offensive line issue, a coordinator issue. There's blame to go around, and it's tough. It's tough to watch. It really is. They made the plays they needed to make in order to win the game. I'll give them credit for that. I give the Colts credit for having some good defense. Aside from that, it really is just. I mean, what is there to say? It's not. It was hard to watch a lot of the way through that game.
Okay, and that's kind of how I wanted to start. Steve, are you in agreement there? Listen, I know you like old school football. We saw some of that defensively, right? But it was still hard to watch this offense struggle the way it has. I would say it was similar to the Chicago game, except it continued and continued and continued.
Absolutely. Derek and I talked about it, and I wrote something earlier this week where I said that watching the Patriots offense, you would, if you didn't know better, you would get the feeling that you're watching 11 guys that have never seen each other or played together until Sunday, and they threw them out on the field because there's no flow. There's no continuity.
Right.
I mean, it's just like everything seems forced and the pieces aren't moving well together. But I go back and, I haven't been very critical of Matt Patricia this year. I thought, up until the last couple of weeks, I thought he's done a pretty good job with the play calling. But the play calling is getting really, really predictable. And I'll give you an example.
Go ahead.
The Patriots overall had 23 first downs. where they, were hiking the ball on first down. A full 15 of them, they ran the ball against what is basically a top 5 rush defense in the NFL.
Okay.
15 of 23 were runs. And in those runs, they were averaging 1.8 yards per carry. That isn't going to get it done. And then I go back to the first 5 first downs that they ran.
Yep.
It was a run for -2, a run for -5, a run for 1 yard, a run for 1 yard. And then they finally broke it up and they passed on first down. And that was a 24-yard play to Jonnu Smith.
Right.
If you're being that predictable, especially against teams that have played good defense, you're not going to be successful. And Bill Belichick even confirmed that on the radio. He said that just like C.J. Mosley was doing in the Jets game.
Yep, Shaquille Leonard.
Yep. Leonard was calling out plays depending on how they were lining up in the down and distance. And,
what does that tell you? It tells you that they're predictable, just like last year and the year before.
They're extremely predictable, even more so.
Yep.
And the fact that these guys are calling out plays, and when you're going against a good defense, especially good linebackers who are quick off the draw, that puts you in a huge hole. And what was happening all game long? Derek mentioned it. You're 2nd and 12, 2nd and 15, 2nd and 8, 2nd and 9. That it puts your entire flow backwards, and that needs to change. We can talk about a lot of other things.
I mean, we've talked about the Bill Parcells thing before, and Steve, sorry to cut you off, but I mean, like, we've talked about this where it's like it takes 6-8 weeks to go ahead and tell what kind of football team you are. We're halfway through the season. I mean, like the offense is not a sustainable offense. I mean, this is it's literally we're watching the team regress, and it's because of Mac, and it's not Mac's fault.
Well, I want to go there. I actually want to go there, Derek.
Okay, so I'll table that for a second.
Table that because I want to spend some time breaking that down.
It sucks. It really sucks because we're watching what we would make fun of teams for doing. Like we would be laughing about this if it was another team. And right now it's pathetic. I just don't like how the team management is going at all. I mean, it's frustrating. I'm super frustrated.
I understand, Derek, and trust me, I want to spend some time really trying to figure this out amongst the three of us, not just the offense, but talk about Mac Jones and his lack of development. I want to talk about that. And I think this game really kind of showed itself to what my concerns are, but we'll get to that in a bit. But I wanted to talk a little bit about the defense because they won the game. They won because of the defense and special teams. Let's just call it like it is. And I've already actually seen, Derek and Steve, criticism of the defense. Now, it's hard to criticize a defense, right? Not really criticizing the defense
9
per
sacks
se.
and a touchdown?
No, but basically more looking at how bad the Colts are. Now, I understand the offensive line woes, but this is the most expensive offensive line in football, and I know they're having a hard time. But at some point, you got to give credit to the Patriots themselves. Steve, I want to go to you first. Let's talk about the Patriots defense and the pass rush. Now, I've been yearning for a pass rush like this probably for a decade, maybe even longer, as long as we've been doing the show. Throughout the game, I've not seen a pass rush as immense in this game that I've seen in all of the Patriots championship years. I've never seen it extend throughout the entire game like this, Steve. Now, I understand the issues that the Colts are having, but at some point, you also have to look what the Patriots are doing. Not just Matthew Judon. Matthew Judon was fantastic, but it was other players too stepping up here, Steve. So let's talk about the overall pass rush. I know they were doing a lot of stunts, and they were working every single time.
Yeah, they confused the Colts. with the stunts. I think they confuse Ellinger at times. And again, I mean, think about it. He's only in starting his second game. So they wanted to bring pressure on him to force him into making mistakes. And honestly, I mean, with the pressure he was under, I expected a lot more, interceptions on Sunday. They didn't get that one until really the end of the game.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, the pass rush was incredible. And the fact that they're able to do it for the most part, rushing only 4 guys, to me, is huge. Because if you can rush 4, drop 7, and you're getting constant pressure on the opposing quarterback, then, that game is already half won defensively because you're still filling up those gaps for the receivers to work in. So I thought, Judon has been just absolutely incredible.
Unblockable, Steve. Unblockable.
But, and against the run, he made that 1 4th down stop.
Yeah.
He's setting the edge. I mean, what an incredible pickup the Patriots got in him. I know a lot of people were just kind of when they signed him because he wasn't considered, a top-tier pass rusher.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to say he is or isn't, but there's one guy at the top of the leaderboard for sacks this year. But it's not just him.
Right.
Dietrich Wise has been an Iron Man, Josh Uche, I don't know. Is the light finally coming on for Josh Uche? I mean,
well, that's going to be the question that I have for
best
both
game.
of you.
Best game he's had as a Patriot.
Yep. But I mean, the last 2 weeks, he came into the Jets game having 1 tackle on the season. And in 2 games, he now has 4 sacks. And a bunch of quarterback hits. He had a couple of tackles for loss.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to complain,
Okay.
but I think they finally found a way to utilize his talent. And when you have all these guys, Juwan Bentley has been good. Mac Wilson, Raekwon McMillan got in the act.
Yep, they all did.
Yeah, and when you have your linebackers with 8.5 of your 9 sacks on the day, that tells me the guys up front are really doing a good job because it's freeing these guys up to go ahead and make plays. And that's the big takeaway I had with the defense. I thought the secondary was really good, but I mean, with the pressure,
I was going to mention this. They also did their job.
Yeah. Oh, they did.
Oh, yeah.
They covered very well, but at the same time, with all the pressure Ellinger was under, he didn't have a heck of a lot of time to, try to find open guys.
Right. And what's interesting, Steve, before I go to Derek, because I want Derek's thoughts on this. One thing I noticed watching some of the highlights was, yes, they rushed forward, but I don't know if you noticed this a great deal, but they're also, it looked like they had a spy on Ellinger, meaning that they had a 5th guy that was really there to make sure he wasn't going to run.
Yeah, that's smart because he had the reputation as a dual threat quarterback at Texas. Now he's not the elusive,
he's a power runner.
Yeah, he's not like a Lamar Jackson or somebody like that. But I mean, he's a pretty, stout dude, and he can run over people if he gets in the secondary. But I think that was a smart move because they knew they could get pressure with 4.
Okay, excellent. Derek, over to you. Am I overstating this? We've been doing this show for 11 plus years, and we've seen some decent pass rush from the Patriots. I don't think I've seen it sustained throughout an entire game like this.
It was an impressive performance for us. I mean, the defense won that game. There's no doubt. I mean, just they totally controlled it. I mean, I was watching the game with a friend of mine who's a Colts fan, and he looked at me midway through the game. He's like, we can't even operate the offense. I mean, it was just dominant. The Patriots really did a nice job defensively, just kind of taking control of that game from that standpoint. Obviously they want it. You want to contain someone who's a rushing quarterback. Bill went into the game being like, we don't want him to, have any move with his legs. Well, it wasn't. He didn't even have a chance.
No.
They had 9 sacks. 9. Like that. That is. That's not a. It's not a normal day. I mean, really, really, really impressive. I felt like Judon, Dietrich Wise, Uche. A couple of guys up front that we want to mention. John Jones. I thought both Jones rookies had a good day. I mean, really, really, really impressive, just all around for the defense.
0 for 16.
I mean, that's insane on third down, right?
Right, but repeat
repeat
it again, Steve. Please.
Yeah, you can make the argument that the Colts, offense is struggling even worse than the Patriots, which it is. But I mean, at any level, playing the sport of football, if you can hold your opponent to 0 for 14 on third down and 0 for 2 on fourth down, where they don't make a single conversion, I find that really, really rare. You know?
Well, I also want to mention this. I thought going into the game that Frank Reich was the mastermind of that Philadelphia Eagles offense that beat the Patriots. So why couldn't he figure this out? I think the answer is
quarterback.
Well, that's number one. Obviously, doesn't have the players, but still, I think we are not giving enough credit, or some aren't giving enough credit to the Patriots defense here. You're right, Derek. He doesn't have a quarterback, but that quarterback was able to move the ball the week prior. So I don't know. Let's give our side a little credit. The Patriots.
No, I get where. All right, I get where you're coming from. I do agree. This is not one of those Derek and Russ arguments that's going to start over semantics. No, I agree with you. I can look at the Colts and say they don't have a quarterback. I can also look at the Patriots and say they absolutely deserve credit 100%. 100%.
In this case. Okay.
Yep.
Coming up next, guys, we're going to spend a lot of time talking about and figuring out what the hell is going on with the Patriots offense. Okay, guys, this is going to be the meat of the show. Let's talk about the offensive line, which was a mess. Now, we knew this going in. If Andrews wasn't going to play, it was going to affect everything, but it's more than that. It's a lot more than that. This is a real problem, Steve. David Andrews hopefully will be coming back soon, maybe after the bye. They certainly need him, but it goes beyond one player here. What is going on with the offensive line, Steve?
They're playing terrible. That's what's going on. I mean, you look, and I think Andrews being out has affected Cole Strange. I know some people say, well, maybe he's hit a rookie wall with mini camps, training camp, 9 games in the season. That's entirely possible. And if so, this week, with the bye week, maybe help him out a great deal with that. But, I mean, you look elsewhere. James Ferentz, he's a veteran, but he hasn't been playing well the past 2 games.
No.
And, you're at right tackle, it's been a revolving door. They're trying to find somebody who can hold up. I mean, they started the year with Isaiah Wynn. He was a train wreck. Then they brought back Marcus Cannon, who's about 9,000 years old. And, Marcus Cannon is still very good in the running game as a run blocker. But speed rushers are an issue for him.
Right.
Now, then they went to Yodnika who just got off of, injury list once again. He struggled. I thought he got a little bit better, later in the game, which, you can factor into some rust. But, I mean, where do they go from here? I don't know. I mean, obviously getting Andrews back would be enormous for them facing the Jets in a week and a half. I think you have to go. They have to do self-scouting this week. Obviously, we know they're in the middle of that.
Right.
But I think, Belichick needs to sit down. And I was talking with Phil Perry earlier this morning, and he said the same thing. You have to find your 5 best players and work them until they're getting some semblance of continuity and decent play out there. And if you have to leave in a tight end to chip on the right side, then do it, because you can't have your quarterback getting hit in 2.5 seconds.
Yep.
Right.
You
Totally agree, Steve. Totally agree. Derek, before I go to you, I just want to say this, that I've not been a big fan of the talk about nepotism and all that, but I will say this. The friends of Bill, when it comes to the players, please, there's no reason why James Ferentz should be on the New England Patriots at this point. Kirk Ferentz is the father of James Ferentz. I'm sure that's a connection here. He's not shown at any time that he can play in the NFL and play with the Patriots. Please get a better backup than James Ferentz. Enough is enough with that. I'm sorry.
What about Cody Russi?
Yeah. I mean,
your thoughts.
The
Derek,
offense,
I'm sorry.
the offense to me is an absolute train wreck, and we are watching. However you feel about Mac Jones, I mean, however you feel about him.
We're going there right after this.
Oh, we're going there right now.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I can't wait any longer.
Wow.
We are watching the Patriots ruin Mac Jones. I don't know if you wherever you think
I might disagree
wherever
with you
you
on
think
that.
he
I
is,
disagree. Okay.
like
Okay.
they are basically writing the playbook on how to ruin a quarterback. The offensive line is a sieve. It's a joke.
No,
it's
that
an
part
absolute
of it,
joke.
Derek.
Can you imagine if you took Ramondre Stevenson, Matt Judon, and Nick Folk off the Patriots? If you took those 3 players off the Patriots, they'd be 0 whatever. They can't. They need Ramondre in the offense. They need Matt Judon on the defense, and they need Nick Folk to kick field goals because they can't score touchdowns because they can't get into the red zone. Forget the red zone. They can't even. They can't do a thing. They are lost. They are lost. This whole offense is broken. Mac doesn't trust anything that's in front of him. Hard to blame him because the offensive line is leakier than a cheap pan. I mean, like, what are we going to do? What are you going to do if your offense can't block the quarterback? You can't protect him.
Derek, I totally agree with you on that. But I want to talk about one part of Mac Jones's game right now. Okay, that obviously the offensive line is an issue.
Yep.
But Derek, what I'm about to share, I think has been consistent. He struggles in the pocket.
He does.
I think what concerns me, and as I brought up to you, I was starting to get concerned about, is this the guy? It's the decision making. It's
but
the
Russ,
ability.
isn't it so hard to evaluate? Seriously though, it's so hard to evaluate him because you recognize all the problems around him. So I agree with you. Can't both things be true? Can't we sit here and say Mac Jones really, his pocket presence is not there? He's not reading the field. Can't we also say that, like, how can you blame him? There's no blocking. There's no playmakers. There's Matt Patricia, an offensive coordinator. Like, both things can be true.
They all can be true, Derek. And as I said to Steve offline, what I am struggling with, I'm going to bring this back to you. I know that they're running different plays, but they had the same offensive line with Bailey Zappi. Why was Bailey Zappi able to make quicker decisions than Mac Jones?
Well, I think it's so.
I'm not wanting to say go to Bailey Zappi. You know, I'm not going there on that.
No, I know, but I do think, and this is kind of marginalizing Russ. Don't yell.
Oh, here we go.
Look at the defenses. Seriously, like the level of competition has been harder with Mac than with Zappi. So I do think that's a problem. I don't think the Patriots offense is up to NFL par. I think that they're algebra 1-2, and they need to get to 3-4. You know what I mean? Like it's a low level offense. I think that they don't have a lot of high caliber talent. I think that the quarterback is behind the bar. I think the coaching is behind the bar. I mean, it's just not an NFL offense. And I don't know. Part of me.
Do you agree with Chris on this? Look at the screen.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%. I totally agree, Chris. I think that any quarterback's going to struggle when you have the protection. I mean, they switched their left tackle and their right tackle. Their left guard got benched. Their rookie left guard got benched, and they put their tackle at guard. They have their backup the backup center in. It's like there's 5 pieces on the offensive line, and only Mike Onwenu is the solid one. They have 20% solid offensive line. The rest of their offensive line is garbage. I mean,
Trent Brown's been okay though. Trent Brown's been okay.
Yeah, but he's been spotty. He's been spottier than the last few years.
Okay.
The offensive line has not had a good year. No. And at the bottom line is the fact that they are just not playing well. And it's literally disrupting everything that's happening. And it went back to the summer the same way. We were talking about this in the summer, guys. June, July. We're talking about if the offensive line isn't playing well, the offense is going to play well. Now we are watching it derail Mac Jones's second year. And what sucks about that is it feels like a wasted year. I'm watching this. I literally don't give a shit if the Patriots win or lose.
Sorry,
and you guys know how much I love this team. But I'm telling you right now that if we have to watch this team waste a year of developmenting this quarterback, it's a fail. It sucks to watch what's happening right now. It's not.
No,
it's not.
I'm not going to disagree, Derek. My only issue is that, like you said, in this year, if it's wasted, will we really know how good Mac Jones is? Because, as you said, it's being wasted.
We can't.
Will we know?
You can't.
Okay, so that's where you're going on. I still have my doubts because of his ability not to read defenses quick enough.
Apparently, I need to calm down. So sorry about that. just getting real frustrated over here. But
no worries, Derek. I'm gonna just change it up a little bit because I do want to talk about the play calling. Before we do that, I have to give a little love, little Boomer Sooner love here, Derek. Boomer Sooner gets it done after contact, and that's something we're talking about how bad the offensive line is. Ramondre Stevenson is doing this after contact, Derek. I want to get your thoughts on what he's doing and then go to Steve.
He's tremendous. Like I said before, him, Matt Judon, Nick Folk, the 3 MVPs for the year. They're all playing at a higher level. I do worry about his conditioning a little bit. Funny for someone like me to say that about him because how great a shape he's in. But I do think in terms of taking a whole workload, it's hard to do. He is absolutely tremendous. I mean, his contact balance, his power, his vision, he's made a couple of nice one-handed stabs at the football the last couple of weeks. I mean, he's fun to watch. I mean, he really is. I mean, I don't want to sit here and say that he's necessarily Alvin Kamara, Christian McCaffrey, but he's probably in that next tier down. I think he, put it this way, he'll be on a lot of people's fantasy boards next year. I mean, he really is. He's the best running back the Patriots have had since Corey Dillon.
Wow, that's saying a lot. Steve, do you agree with that about Ramondre Stevenson, that he's the best back they've had since Corey Dillon? I thought Corey Dillon was the best probably I've seen, and I've seen some really good backs, including Sam Cunningham, but Corey Dillon was a different level. Is Ramondre up there?
Yeah, he's a 3-down back.
Yeah.
And they haven't had a true 3-down back since maybe Curtis Martin.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Okay.
All right, they haven't, but he's going to be next year. I mean, he's that guy. And you can tell how much Bill likes him too. Just the way he talks about him. He's like a little grin on his face. You know what I mean?
Okay. Good stuff. All right. My friend Steve Reynolds in Spain, who was just starting to get into the Patriots after the last couple of seasons, he has an interesting comment I want to share with you guys, and it's going to basically let us talk about the coaching staff. It's interesting, and it's someone fairly new to the game, Steve. I'll go to you first, Steve Balestrieri. Steve Reynolds says, is it time the Pats have a look at the whole structure from the coaching down? Now, Steve, I want to get your thoughts on this because we could talk about the coaching staff. We could talk about Kraft. Is it right to take a look at everything with what we've been watching this season. Everything.
Well, and when you're talking about coaching, after the head coach, yes. Because, where would the Patriots be right now if somebody other than Bill Belichick was coaching? They wouldn't be 5-4. I can tell you right now.
No.
They'd probably be 1-8, maybe. So, but I didn't get a chance to chime in on the Mac Jones stuff, and
Go ahead, Steve. I'm sorry.
I'll
Go
tie
ahead.
this in with
Yes.
coaching. The coaching, especially on the offensive side of the ball, needs to get a heck of a lot better. I was giving Patricia the benefit of the doubt, early in the season, and I thought, through the beginning parts there, I thought he was doing a pretty good job, but they're so predictable now. And getting to your point when you talked about Bailey Zappi,
right?
They called a different game. They were putting him under center. They were throwing on first.
Go, Steve.
Down.
Go. I love this. Go. Keep going.
That's a good point, Steve.
No, they were using play action passes. They were doing all these different things that they're not doing with Mac for whatever reason.
And that makes no sense, honestly.
It doesn't make any sense. And when you talk about struggles in the pocket, okay, when you have the other team calling out the play, okay, before
back-to-back weeks, by the way, back-to-back weeks,
back-to-back. If it's that simple that you have linebackers on the other side of the ball calling out the play,
that's pretty bad.
Then you need to give the quarterback the option of audibling out of that, and you need to start getting more creative with this team because they are so. As I talked to you earlier, Russ.
Yeah.
Out of 23, first down snaps in the football game, they ran the ball 15 times against a top 5 defensive unit.
Yep.
And in those 15 snaps, they gained an average of 1.8 yards per carry.
So
you're putting your entire offense behind the 8 ball right off the bat.
Steve, what did I say? Steve, what did we talk about yesterday on the phone? We talked about how if you and I can see this on the couch, what do you think the coaches of these teams that work 80 hours a week can see? Like, all due respect to us, we're intelligent football fans. We're watching this. Like, what do you think the coaches that are grinding the tape, that are paid to do this, working 12-hour days, what do you think they can see? I mean, it's so obvious. It's so
simple.
Russ, it's painful to watch, Russ.
Yeah, and again, I'm not going to disagree with you, Derek, obviously.
And again, I go back to, the conversation I had with Phil Perry earlier today on another show. And Phil was talking about the same things. It's like, simplifying is good. Like he said earlier in the season, they needed to simplify things to get these guys moving. But when you're 9 weeks into the season and you're still running, offense 1.0, and I'm paraphrasing there for Phil, it puts your players at a severe disadvantage. And the fact that it ties in this lack of creativity with a total lack of offensive line play, your quarterback has no confidence that he is going to be safe to hold on to the ball for more than a second and a half because he knows he's going to get hit. And, when you talk about struggles in the pocket, how can you go through progressions when you know you're going to get hit second and a half after you snap the ball? You can't.
So why do you think they're not putting him under center, Steve, and they're doing this?
I don't know, but this is a coaching issue, and it's not a player issue.
Okay.
This is a coaching issue. You have to get creative with things. They did that. They had a guy that nobody had tape on with Bailey Zappi. They put him under center. They let him run play action. They did all of these things. They were throwing on first down. And lo and behold, they were eating up some chunk yardage there.
And then Max under center and they call a different game.
And Max in the shotgun. And he's handing it off every time on first down.
And guess Russ, who's the best team in the NFL at running the ball on 2nd and 10? I'll tell you, the Patriots. 2nd and 10. It's the most predictable offense in the league. It is watching a car accident slowly for 3 hours. I mean, it's just it's horrible. I mean,
It's a silo
obviously
fire.
I knew. Obviously, we all. I don't want to put words in your guys' mouth.
Okay.
But we all had our reservations about what the offense was going to look like this year.
Yeah.
At the beginning, I thought the play calling was fine. I still don't think the play calling is that bad. The play design, the concepts, it's watching an outdated mind. I mean, I don't know how to say it. Like it's not you can't watch, Miami or Kansas City or Buffalo and then watch the Patriots offense. It's like going back decades. I mean, they need
Sam Cunningham, Russ.
Sam Cunningham. I love Sam.
They need to bring in an offensive mind, a new one.
Okay. So let's hope that Josh McDaniels gets fired, Derek.
Yeah. I'll pick him up from the airport. I'll swing by.
You'll drive from Arizona to Vegas. And...
I'll be there in 3 hours, and it's a 6-hour drive.
Okay, because you know what? That might actually happen. So who knows? Who knows what happens with Josh McDaniels?
Probably not. In all seriousness, I think you're kidding, but I don't think he'll be fired. But he's going down. He's going down that boulevard. So.
He's going down a bad path too. But,
yes, sir.
Okay, so let's end with this because I wanted to focus, as you can imagine, on how bad this offense is. And like I said, I get a lot of criticism, guys. Derek, you might be shocked by this, but I got a lot of criticism, to call me a pink hat really upset
Russ,
me.
I saw your Twitter account. What did you do to piss people off? Like I was looking at your mentions. I'm like, geez, this guy is getting
it's bad. Right it's bad. They were out for blood with me.
I have not seen very many people mean to you. Like I thought you were a politician. You were getting so much hate.
No,
on Twitter.
I was getting a good amount.
Russ burned up in the midterms here.
Right.
Oh, big time. And I'm watching the game, and all I happened to really talk about was the fact I brought up a term that obviously many Patriots fans don't want to hear.
Yeah.
You know what? I kind of want to be entertained. They don't like that. And they didn't like that. I could tell it was about the word entertain.
Yeah.
Well, so I said it because it was terrible to watch, and they just took it and ran it and told me I should play Madden. And I'm like, I don't play Madden, so basically shut the F up. Anyways, enough of that.
It was actually really funny, and I love that.
I'm glad of course you enjoyed that.
I didn't enjoy you getting roasted. I enjoyed your commentary because for once I felt like
you getting roasted when he does it.
Yeah. I felt like you were so upset that I was really happy that we could share being so upset at the same thing.
Okay.
Wow.
Derek.
That is
awesome.
Wow,
you enjoy my misery. That's not good, Derek.
I enjoy Russ. You're listening. I said I enjoy your misery because I was also miserable too. So.
Okay. Well, misery loves company, right, Derek?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
So I want to end with talking about this. You guys are going to like this. We're focusing on the offense. So, Steve, you're going to talk to Bill Belichick. How does he fix this?
I don't think he takes over play calling. I don't.
No, he won't.
I think, like I said, they have to do a tremendous self-scouting. And, Chris brought up a good point. Does he move the play calling to Joe Judge?
Yeah, he mentioned that. What do you think, Steve?
I'm at this point, it's not so, as Derek said, it's not so much the play calling to a degree. And I was complaining about all the runs, but like Derek said, the play design, there's no creativity there. You're not fooling anybody with the way you're lining up. And I thought that, for a few games they were doing that. But at this point, could Joe Judge be any worse? Well, let me rephrase that. At this point, could the results be any worse with Joe Judge there than they are right now with Patricia? And I don't know.
Okay.
I wouldn't fire him, as Chris said.
I know. I want to share this.
Yeah,
so Chris is all about firing Matt Patricia.
I'm with you, Chris. Right into the sun.
Well,
Oh,
I
Derek's right there.
did a Lions podcast a few weeks ago, and
That must have been interesting.
yeah,
You
he's
poor
not
thing.
a very popular person. In fact, the guys from the Lions were all calling him Matt Patricia. So
At least
Okay,
they're
I
creative.
don't
kinda like
advocate
that.
it. I don't advocate for Patricia to be fired.
Neither do
But-
I.
I do.
I know
But
you
Go
do.
ahead.
Okay,
I
so
don't think Bill's going to do that.
no, he's not.
No, he won't. He won't.
Okay.
I'm obviously I'm kind of kidding, but he won't.
Derek,
fire him.
how
That-
would you fix this mess?
I
If you could talk to Bill.
if I could fix it, I would hire someone who was an offensive coordinator. But we said that 6 months ago. So I
Yeah, you
I don't
can't
know.
do it in the middle of the
I-
season. I don't think so.
no, he won't. No, he won't. Obviously, he won't. I mean, I don't even have a lot of faith that he would do it over the offseason, honestly, because he trusts Matt. And I don't think Matt is a stupid coach. I don't think he's a dumb person.
No,
I just
not at
think
all.
he's just not a forward-thinking head coach. And I mean, it's been obvious the offense has been a mess. I mean, the quarterback has been regressing. The offensive line's falling apart. I mean, they put an offensive coordinator and an offensive line coach in place that had never done it before, and both aren't looking good. So what are we supposed to say? What are we supposed to look at? We looked at Joe Judge and Matt Patricia and said, I don't know, we think it'll be okay.
Derek, I have a suggestion.
Yeah.
And whether they stick with Patricia or go to Judge as the play call, I think it's going to stick with Patricia. I
Mhm.
would say, why not do what you did with Bailey Zappi and see where that takes you, Derek?
Yeah.
Simplify it even more, run a more basic offense, and let him go under center and do it that way and see where that gets you. And if that works, then maybe you build on that. Yes, it's predictable, but I think it gives them more chance to progress. I'm just
Couldn't
trying
agree.
to think of a way to get them to move forward, because right now they're in quicksand. How do you move forward?
Russ, I've never agreed with you more on the show.
Wow. Stephen, what are your thoughts about this? Could I be right here to go to what they did with Zappi? Why are they resident? Why are they not willing to do this? They can use this week to self-scout, maybe self-scout themselves. I'm talking about the coaching staff.
Right. And that's what I said. I mean, there's so much more they should be doing, and they're not. And it's putting your players in a position to fail rather than succeed. So, start mixing in play action. Start putting Mac under center. The only time he's under center is when they're on the goal line. And sometimes even then, he's in the shotgun. It's time to, start getting more creative with the play designs and, stop having these opponents calling out your play before, the snap.
I have another suggestion. Now, it only worked in spurts, and I think it will only work in spurts, but mix in up-tempo, Steve. Why not play a little bit more up-tempo? Because
they did do a little bit of that.
A little.
And, they used to do a little bit of that with Brady as well.
They absolutely did. We talked about it on the show.
And I think it all depends on the opponent. If opponents like to mix and match, then if you catch them on first down and you get a 10, 12-yard gain, then they keep that tempo going so the other team isn't allowed to, to substitute. And I think when they've used that in the past and even, a little bit this year, it's worked pretty well. And I'm a firm believer in, mixing things up, keep the defense, reacting to you rather than setting the tone.
Okay, excellent. Guys, I have one final topic for you, and it actually involves two teams in the Patriots division, the Bills and the Jets, okay? Thought this might be an interesting topic to end the show. So, Steve, what does the Jets' victory against the Bills tell you? Does it tell you that the Jets are better than we thought? The Bills are not maybe as infallible as we thought, or maybe even the Patriots are a little bit better because they beat the Jets. What does it tell you?
It tells me that the NFL is a week-to-week season. I think the Bills have looked like a juggernaut for most of the year. I thought 2 weeks ago against Green Bay, they kind of faded a little bit in the second half. And
Why do you think they faded?
Huh?
Why do you think they faded in that game?
I don't know.
I felt like they got bored.
I think they got a little complacent.
Just going through the motions.
I think they got a little complacent. Like,
yep.
they had a really impressive first half, and it looked like it was going to be another, game where the Bills blow the doors off an opponent. But I think they got a little complacent, and I just thought they got outcoached and outplayed on Sunday. I think, we talked about the Jets defense.
Steve, I'm actually a fan of Saleh. Can I just say that? That might not be popular to say, but I'm a fan of his. I'm a fan of his when he was with the Niners.
I think he's a really good coach, and I think his players have bought in, and they're playing like it. They're playing, especially that defense, they're playing fast and loose.
Couldn't agree more.
And the fact that they were able to shut down Buffalo, granted, they weren't at their best, but at the same time, you can't take that away from them.
No, it'll come down to that quarterback.
I honestly feel like Buffalo is kind of in like a cruise control mode now. They just feel like they're just going through the motions. They know they're going to be in the postseason. They're halfway through the year. I just feel like they're kind of like
I think that was a wake-up call.
Out.
How about this?
I think Sunday was a wake-up call for the Bills.
Okay.
And, they need to come back to that. When the season started, they had that intensity that, what happened that last 13 seconds in Kansas City wasn't going to define them.
Right.
And they came out like their hair was on fire. And I think they lost a little bit of that. And we'll see how they react.
Okay. Yeah, the AFC East is definitely one of the best divisions in football.
I can't believe we're saying that, by the way.
No, I know it's weird. But here's the thing. And people who've listened to the show for a long time are going to hear me rant about something that I've said 1,000 times before, but
here we go.
It comes down to the draft, man. and the Dolphins and the Bills and the Jets have drafted really well the last couple of years. When you stack drafts together, your team is strong. And they're all doing it right now. And with the Jets, the question mark, I do like Saleh, but there's a little bit of a question mark still at the head coach, and there's a question mark at quarterback. And with the Bills, probably not too many question marks. My question mark with the Bills would be like, how do you handle success? We'll find out. We'll find out. But they're a phenomenal team. And the Jets, I still think the Jets are, I had said that, but, little question about their quarterback. And the Dolphins, I think that there's a lot of things about the Dolphins that are right there. I'm not sure they're there yet, but they're close. The whole division has really taken an immense step forward. The last couple, the last, few weeks. I mean, they've really announced themselves. So it'll be curious to see what it's like, as the year progresses. I'm curious to see how each one of these teams takes a step because they really have taken a big step from a talent perspective forward.
And Derek, you are right to say the drafts, but I think maybe this time next season we'll be saying that the Patriots have joined them.
I hope so.
If they continue on their draft capital, taking advantage of what they have, because I think the last few drafts they've shown that they're catching up, but they're behind. They're still behind. It's a good point.
Russ, I told Steve the other day, and anyone who likes to listen to us during the offseason, I'll tell you the same thing. I'm already eyeballing right tackles because I don't see how there's a chance in hell they don't take a tackle in the draft first round this year. I can't see another way around it.
Okay, and listen, Derek is great with the draft along with Steve. His only faux pas would obviously be J.J. Watt, and I'll bring that up to the day I die with him. He knows that. I always have to throw in. Well, I'm not sure, Russ. I'm not sure if J.J. Watt would be a good fit.
2.0, but yeah, sure. You only had 100 career sacks. That wasn't enough.
That one you might have gotten wrong, but that's okay. You get a lot right there. Great show, guys. Fantastic show. I do want to wrap this up. As always, please do subscribe on YouTube to the PatsFans.com YouTube channel. Ian Logue is telling me that we are getting more and more people subscribing. We need you to subscribe. And also subscribe on Apple Podcasts because it does help Patriots fans find us. Leaving a review helps as well. Okay. Well, we're going to be back next week. I think what we're going to do next week, guys, is we are going to do our own self-scouting of the New England Patriots, and that should be probably a little scary because there's a lot to look at, to analyze where they are. They're 5-4, but we have to look at and analyze these players, these coaches, and why they're not better than they are. So that's what we're going to do next week.
I'm going to make a guarantee right here.
I love it.
Okay.
They will not lose a game this week.
I'm there with you, Steven. I think Derek will agree.
I'll ride that money line.
Okay.
That's it. I'm betting the house on that. They will not lose this week.
Okay. That was very profound from Steve Balestrieri. That's a great way to end the show.
Nice dad joke to end the show. Love that.
Okay, let's wrap this up. For Steve Balestrieri and Derek Havens, I'm Russ Goldman. Thank you as always for watching and listening to Patriots 4th and 2, the official podcast, PatsFans.com.
Go Pats.